Drawing faces doesn't have to be difficult. In this low pressure video, we're going to explore our style and have lots of fun drawing different faces. I'll be using my skin tone palettes from my colour palette PDF. This includes 20 of my most popular colour palettes, which you can download for free below this video. So grab yourself a cozy drink and let's get started. So we're going to create a square canvas of 3000 by 3000 pixels. And we'll just go up to the X here, create new, and 3000 by 3000 pixels with a DPI of 300. And this is going to give you quite a lot of layers to work with. I'll just click create. So we're going to be creating 4 quirky characters today. And just so we can give our characters some breathing space, I'm just going to add 4 dots to place my faces on. And you're going to want them to be quite spread apart just so you can give your characters a lot of breathing space when you're adding the hair and accessories. So once I've created my dots, I'm going to duplicate that and just bring these down. If you're not seeing these blue lines, all you need to do is make sure that you have snapping and magnetics selected, as well as uniform. And then this is just going to align your dots. So I'm going to bring them down to about there. And then when I'm happy with it, I'm just going to merge those down together, create a new layer. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my palettes now, and I'm going to start to create some different shapes for my characters. So I have my skin tones here, and this is also available in the PDF, and I've also included some swatches in the download so it's easier for you to just import them directly into Procreate. So I'm going to be using the Charlie Inker for my Portrait Power Pack, but if you don't have this, you can also use brushes that already come with Procreate. So the Studio Pen is a great alternative for this. And select this skin tone. I'll then create a new layer on top of those dots, and this is just going to be the placement for my characters. So I want to vary up my character face shape. I'm going to create maybe a character with quite a wide jaw. This kind of triangle shape. And you can feel free to follow along with these face shapes, or you can create your own at this point. I'm going to add these kind of really wide ears. And then I'm going to create a new layer and maybe go for a slightly darker tone, so probably this color. And I want to vary this up now. So because this is quite a triangular face, I'm thinking about having maybe a face that's really long. And I'll have the ears a little bit different as well, so have them kind of poking out. And you can vary up where the ears are positioned, so you can have them kind of in the middle of the head or maybe a little bit lower down. And for this one, maybe a little bit of a darker color again, and have this character's face a bit round. So I can either create a perfect circle by holding my finger down and snapping it like this, but I quite like having my characters look a little bit wonky, so I'm gonna just kind of freehand this circle because I really want this exercise to be fun, playful, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's the beauty of drawing faces, is faces aren't meant to be perfect, you know. This exercise is just a great way for you to get out the habit of trying to get everything perfect and just have fun, loosen up, and have this just very low pressure. Okay, so I have my round face now. I quite like this shape, so what I'm going to do is duplicate that shape and bring it over, and this is just a really quick way for you to get those shapes because we're going to make this character look a little bit different. I'm going to drag that in and just have the skin tone a lot lighter. So I have 4 different characters now. So I want you to merge your characters down when you're happy with them, create a new layer, head over to your color palettes. I'm going to be using 3 color palettes for my classic Daisy, but feel free to follow along with your own color palettes or any other color palettes from my PDF. I am going to add a white first just to add some features. So I always kind of create the features first and then I'll start going in with the accessories. I'm going to add some circles for the eyes. And I'm going to try and change up the features for all of my characters as well. So I have this character kind of starry-eyed. I'm going to add a black as well for my cozy modern. Just add some dots in the middle. Then I'm going to add some features as well. So when I'm adding features, I quite like going in with a darker tone of the skin tone. So I normally select this by going kind of around the edge of the color wheel like this. But if I go too far, I'm going to get too much contrast. So what I want to do is go over to classic and I'm just going to get a little bit more control over picking those darker tones. So I don't want you to go down because this is just going to pick some really muddy colors and this is going to add too much black. So make sure you're staying within that saturation, so you can either make it less saturated or more saturated, kind of staying in this mid-range. So I'm going to go about here and see how that looks. And I think that skin tone looks good. So I'm just going to have a cute button nose and a really big smile. I'm going to finish that off with a little bum chin and some marks in the ears as well. And now onto the hair. So once I'm happy with that, I'll create a new layer. And I'm going to pick a dark brown now, actually from this color palette, and follow this top of the head. And I'm just going to add a little bit of volume like this and have this kind of cute cartoony fringe. And then to save myself time, I'm just going to drag that. So just make sure that when you're using the threshold that you set it to around 97%, just so it doesn't flood your canvas. And I'll have some cute little eyebrows as well. And I can kind of vary up the emotion a little bit. So I could have some eyebrows slanting down just to make my character look a little bit worried and cute. And just add some little marks as well, just to kind of add to that. So again, I'll create a new layer. So make sure you're always working in layers. So if you're not happy with something, you can always change it up. I'm going to go over to my palettes and pick a red. I'll then head over to my Charlie outline just so I can get crisper lines. But a great alternative is the monoline brush that already comes with Procreate as well. So I'm just going to draw a circle, hold my pencil down and then snap that with my finger. About there. I'll duplicate that and drag it to the other side for my glasses. And then I'll just join them up in the middle like this. And this is just a really quick way to add some accessories to my characters as well. So the last thing I want to do for this character is add some cute blush. And this is just going to add to his worried face. So I'm going to hold my finger down again and select that color, go over to disc. I'm going to add a little bit of saturation to that color. But I'm also going to bring that pinkness down as well. So I'm going to bring in some pink for that blush. I'll then go over to my butter sketch, and you can also use the Bonobo brush that comes with Procreate. And I'm just going to softly add some blush to his face. And this is just going to vary up the kind of neat lines with some textures as well. And there you go, I have my first cute character created. So for my second character, I'm gonna try and add a little bit different personality as well as play around with different features. So I'm going to maybe add some dots for the eyes this time. So I'll go back to my Charlie Inker and have some dots kind of placed in the middle. Or maybe this character could have his eyes closed. So I'll go in with a darker tone again. I'll go to classic and I'm just going to bring in some darker tones. So when you're working with browns, so you can kind of stay within this mid-range. And I'm just going to push that over a little bit and just check that. And maybe I could have this character's nose kind of long like this. I'll add some different marks in the ears. And to have a lot of fun, I think I'm going to have this character's mouth open. So I'll just go back to that black and just add a kind of circle. Maybe he's singing. And now to add some accessories. So I'm trying to think of different personalities for my characters, and maybe I could have the eyebrows kind of neutral. So not much of an emotion here. And I could add a kind of mohawk. So I'm going to add a little bit of a pink tuft for the hair. I could have some bags and some kind of stubble on the side of his head, just to kind of show that he's just recently shaved his head. And some marks here as well. And because he looks quite alternative, I could add a cute little earring like this. And there you go, that's my second character. And for this character, I'm going to add some really funny eyes. So I'm going back to my white, and I'm going to have some spaced out eyes, and they're going to be quite small this time. Create a new layer, go back, and I just want you to really have fun with this. Play around with the size of the features, the placement of the features, and really get in the habit of practicing your creativity as well. It's so important that we're always exercising that. And then go in with a darker shade of brown and create this kind of long line, kind of like a brow, and have the nose kind of wide and a little bit funky. And I'll have the mouth, he's quite grumpy. I want to trace over this head, and I'm thinking about different accessories that I can bring in now. Maybe about bringing in a yellow now. So this yellow, and I'm going to give this character a woolly hat. I'll trace over the top of the head, and if it's easier you can kind of rotate the canvas to get that kind of smooth line. And I'm going to kind of arch that around a little bit and drag that over. I'm going to go back to that yellow, and again go over and just add a little bit of saturation. Create a new layer and just add those really important details. And maybe I could, with some marks as well, just add a little bit of stubble. So I'm just always trying to think of different ways that I can vary up my characters. I might even add a little bit of a pink bubble on top. Okay, so the last one, I want to create a female character, and I'm going to try and change up the features again. I'll go for this black, and I'll have the eyes around midway. Just going to look quite disinterested. I'm going to add a darker tone for those all-important features. Kind of pointy nose now. Maybe some marks, just really subtle marks underneath her eyes. And I could also have kind of like a slight smile. And again, I quite like the idea of having this like double chin as well. So it's all about having fun and experimenting. I'm going to add a red for her hair. And what I want to do is maybe add some fun, quirky pigtails. So I'll create the top of the hair, kind of coming out a little bit on top. So kind of add in a little bit of volume and bring that down. And then kind of bring that around like that. And then I'll repeat that on the other side. So like I said, just add a bit of volume at the top, but you're going to want to bring the hairline down slightly from the top of the head, just make it look a little bit more natural. And then I'll fill those in. And sometimes I like to kind of add some stray hairs as well, kind of coming down, just to add a little bit more realism to my stylized characters. And then I'm going to add some cute pigtails, so I'll just kind of start really small and then I'll bring out those pigtails. And I quite like to have a little bit of variation, so I'm going to try that again, but I don't want them to be complete perfect because, like I said, faces aren't perfect. So that's the beauty of this exercise. We can have a lot of fun with experimenting and just pushing your creativity. So you can follow along with these, or if you feel like you want to create your own characters, please do. I'm really excited to see what you create. And I'm going to finish that off maybe with some yellow ribbons. And just add those on like that. And of course, I can't forget the eyebrows. I'll have the eyebrows, maybe she's a bit angry. I'll have the eyebrows kind of slanted a little bit. She's not in the best of moods. And lastly, I am going to give her some cute little earrings, some gold, or maybe some gold hoops. She's pretty badass. So lastly, I'm actually going to add some darker marks to her hair just to kind of go with that flow. So I'll add the parting and then just some cute lines as well, just to add some nice textures, give it that kind of retro look. And some freckles as well, because I haven't actually added any freckles. So just look for different ways that you can add all of those different accessories. And I kind of want to add a little bit of a tuft. Bring in that darker colour. Bring that above. And again, just add some fun textures into those illustrations. And there you have it, 4 different characters that vary in skin tone as well as personality. So hopefully you had fun with this exercise, and I just want to encourage you to have fun in the process of drawing faces. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, where you can find lots of new tutorials every week. And if you wanted to follow along with this exercise, you can download my free colour palettes below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.